sister, do you think you know who you are? Do you think you know what you can do? I'm telling you, you don't know a thing about yourself as long as you think you're limited. Why am I telling you? Why am I so fierce at this moment? I'm telling you, I did think I knew who I am. All the time I would be mild and gentle and peaceful and a humble being, and it's perfect to be like this. You know what I mean? It is perfect to be all this. And I tell you, I still am. But there's the other part of me, of you, of anybody, of us. Whatever you are practicing all the time, all the years of your life, what you think you're good at, what you should improve, and what you should be perfect in, because you're born with it. I'm telling you, there's much more in each of you. My case, this you feel, you hear now, this fierce energy, this fire, and this pressure. Well, so much pressure because I've held it back all my life. What the hell did I do? I'm exploding, my goodness. You see, maybe it's not your part to learn this one, but I'm telling you, don't rely on that what you think you are. Don't rely on that what people are mirroring you and telling you what you shall do or be. Just find out, just do it. Go on, try yourself, make mistakes, fall and fall again, and get up again. You cannot fail, you cannot do anything wrong. Just do it. Get back your natural energy. Get back your natural being, your whole natural being. No matter if you're young or old, if you're a man or a woman, no matter which country you've been raised, no matter whatever people told you are, no matter whatever you thought you will be, just be serious with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Feel all the little things that want to come up in you and want to be expressed and lived and felt. Just go. Live it. Be it.
Sunday afternoon soul speak. Synchronistic vibrations are increasing. Lower level vibrations decreasing. We have the eyes to see numbers, tones, sensations, coincidences that are not luck or the mask of aberration. The universe speaks, is divinity. The soul's call to arms come down, the door to liberation, freedom, manifestation, initiation, tuition, to a new world of old, kindred, the gnosis of soul. Not a language a human to speak, not a description be told fully. No matter the intensity we seek, it comes in many ways. We've been blinded, but now the veil is lifted. blind by faith no more. Uncover the vanity of the superficial landscape of our lives, the little worries and hurries of a world that is no more, no longer to ignore. That is what we are here for. It's a choice, not a chore. This is what we're here for. A coronation, the bold expiration of the limitless lineage we share. It's a kindred, the gnosis of soul. To discover, uncover, recover the eternal, to stand in the space from the difficult and mortal we come, a path chosen by each soul. We need not chase our future anymore. We need not trace our past anymore. All has merged, oneness. Activations, channeling vortex, wisdom, love, truth, and peace. Now we crease the cool waters in unison, but alone we make that call. We rise and fall together. We are the alchemists, controlling all things, the wars, the woes, the weather, the brilliant light, the holy darkness. It's time, the alignment, the calling. We are not turning away from the darkness of a world, but turning to the light of the world. This is where the Tao meets the Christian, the atheist meets the Muslim, the Buddhist and the agnostic, all merging, all emerging, all re-emerging. The road to Shambhala, Kamala, Nirvana, it's a soul highway. Choose the world been known, or choose the world of all worlds that we have always known. Seek, and ye shall find from the heart and mind of spirit that I will call soul. Wishing you all peace, power, protection, and big ass love from Soldier One.
Yo, the work is gone already. The work is gone already. It's Frankfurt this time, though.
Smoke. Yeah. All cleared up. I'm saying. A little eucalyptus and menthol, you know what I mean? Joint, we back. Move through the courtyard, looking at the stars. The stars got eyes, cause you're looking at me, elevating in the streets. Bang. For the folks that can see us going down in the block. Down in the block where the candy lady rockin', the bones get slammed. The table with fam, let it melt in your mouth and not in your hand. Chocolate, rockin' it. Rockin' it, you know I wanna go. Keep it elevating with the crew. South side of the city, extra really getting busy. Macho man daddy with the flex gang. Thumbs up, cause my text flames. He ain't tryna heal it, homie, that way. They really get to killing, baby, that's lame. Insane to the membrane. No savages, man, we all came. Raw fleet, we gon' eat. Watch the blessings of the heavens come spoil me. Act spoiling, I'm on the couch. Get up every morning, man, and make that bounce. You dead. Them baby girls on my pinky ring. Blue bristles cuts with the diamond clusters. I relish this. Who need muscle, man? Hot dog, gas, tubby bustin'. Yo, chillin' with the vision and the pivot. I send it on the rhythm, and you never can be slipping. I'ma get him in a minute that the brother keep playing. Check it, slow this, roll. The brothers and sisters. You can see they clicking, man, but rapper to the bullets. Liver on the microphone, my team up catching bullets. That smile, boogie, bright crown on the side, gold tooth like Lolo. My mama don't favor that mess, but the way I did it was so dope. Yo, we still here? Hey, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Southside. Southside. Hey. Yo. first, one vinegar. Got a couple overs over on the grill. Smoke a veggie patty burning from the booth. Smoke around my dog and nothing but the truth. Ash Tower reporting in. This G4 once again. Yeah, ground crew on the ground. Let liberation begin. Yeah. Southside. Look at here. Southside. Yup. Look at here. Yeah. Ash Tower no down. We here on the ground. Hey, hold on, son, stop playing. Hey, yo, look at him. Hey, look at him. Southside. Yo, look at him. Hey, 144,000 on the ground. 2 mil 50 in the air, 6 milli. On 4 Ascension J. Let's go. Yeah. Universal brothers and sisters, huh? Yo.
Recorded video. Today's been a great day so far. It's mid-afternoon. I did my own little baptism in the Mississippi. Took a bath, did some laundry. Oh yeah, these little entities, these thought forms that attach to, that feed on fear and suffering. These are beings that attach to the auric field of the human. And if you can get out into natural flowing waters and just dunk yourself, go for a swim, go underneath, submerge yourself for a few seconds, as long as you can. It breaks the piezoelectric connection between you and the entities. It frees you from the attachment of these things that have to leave you until the next time you give permission by moving into judgment consciousness. So it cleanses you. Do it often, because the humans, it takes practice to retrain the mind to stay neutral. But natural flowing waters are the best way to break that piezoelectric connection between these entities and you, and give you a fresh start, a clean, fresh start to again practice remaining free of prejudice or judgment. fear, those things that you adhere to that give permission for that darkness to adhere to you. So anyway, take life with levity. Enjoy every moment you can. It's all happening for you, not to you. So it's all good. Take life with levity. Love you all.
Right, I got a question. What do you think might happen in your life if you replace the words "what if" with "what's the worst that could happen"? Think about this for a second. Every single time any of us have a big opportunity, a big experience, a big event possibly about to go down in our lives, the choice to move forward with that experience, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 is preceded by what if? What if it falls on its face? What if they don't like me? What if they don't pick up? What if this doesn't work out? What if? What if is an asshole. How about if we replaced what ifs with what's the worst that can happen? Watch how it all changes from there. What's the worst that can happen? I'll use myself as a prime example. I absolutely hate, contrary to what you might think, hate pressing record or go live or doing an interview because it puts the fear of Christ in me. It actually does. I feel sick. It doesn't make me feel good inside. I think I'm gonna die. And then I press it and then I get on with it. And then I'm like, jeez, what's the worst that could have happened there? But how many times have you put yourself in a position where you've said no to you, no to an opportunity, no to an experience because you're afraid of what if? Ask yourself this the next time you're placed in a position where something terrifies you. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? And take the fear out of that situation. Say yes to you and no to anything outside of you that robs the possibility of potential in your world. What is the worst that could happen? That's it.
DNA creates personal, collective, and multidimensional experiences in form. It is a photonic light receiver and generator which serves as an antenna to transduce spiritual information into form. Activating our crystalline, Christed, or divine DNA is key to the experience of shifting dimensions and ascension itself. Our coveted DNA structure allows for a pure experience of Source, the Creator, while in denser form. We utilize crystalline DNA as a gateway to a new experience because it bridges dimensions and densities, sometimes known as the Rainbow Bridge. The frequency of Christ consciousness shines through crystalline DNA, allowing the experience of ascension through a denser form. Crystalline DNA is a quantum recording device of all that we have been, are, and will be, and all of the possibilities therein. This includes all realms and expressions in the multiverse, from first separation and back again. The more strands and levels we activate and access, the more information and pliability of realms, times, outcomes, and creations can present. We align with our creator state of consciousness, which returns us to the pure unified state of infinite possibility. When our heart center expands to the vibration of Christ or unity consciousness, our DNA activates and spins in coherent toroidal formations, allowing it to radiate diamond solar plasma light codes. Crystalline DNA is a high-frequency light signature before it manifests into form. Crystalline DNA operates in the quantum. The more strands or layers we activate, the more we experience quantum entanglement with higher levels of consciousness, including higher dimensional versions of self, angelic realms, masters, galactic realms, and other forms of consciousness which we used to perceive as separate beings. DNA information may travel on streams of light intelligence through vast areas of space via alignments of central solar bodies designed to deliver intelligence, the great central sun, galactic center, suns, or stars. Gaia herself is transcending into a crystalline solar-type body in order to support the activation of higher frequency beings upon her physical vessel to assist with that process. She is transforming into a platform in order to support our ascended self. The solar cosmic Christed state operates like a sun, a solar model, not only in the enlightened pure heart center, but as the center of your own solar style system, a system of unified divine aspects. The divine human Christed state was created in alignment with the templates which govern stars, and you will find the 12 into the 1 template reflected in your DNA fields as well. Christ consciousness shining through the crystalline DNA is a bridge between worlds. Like a primary Christed ascension timeline, we utilize crystalline DNA as a gateway to a new experience because it bridges dimensions and densities. DNA receives cosmic light through the micro wormholes in the strands. We also bilocate new strands and awareness into our cells. The structure rebundles as a 12-strand DNA and remembers the cosmic self. Our awakened consciousness then creates realities, experiences in alignment with the source codes flowing from this activated DNA. It is divine creation in action. When we activate these crystalline strands of DNA, we begin the embodiment process of our ascension. We begin to experience many aspects of self as a simultaneous experience. Through aligning with 0 point in our sacred practices, we may experience the presence of Source as self. This is the Christed, crystalline, or unity consciousness state, and it is produced through our DNA. Cosmic frequencies alter the way in which we co-create our reality. This is why this is happening now. The sun, Solaris, is a stargate to the higher realms. This is reflected in our own heart centers as our diamond solar crystalline heart opens to become a stargate for Christ consciousness in the same way Solaris is doing this in this now moment. As the sun shifts to a pure, more unified form in alignment with the background energy, the cosmic mother frequency of this universe, which is pure, unconditional love. We see the sun shifting into this higher state of beingness, and we witness this in this now moment. Mass participation in the ascension process, the increase in photonic light, light codes through sound, tone, color, frequencies, and our location in the galaxy in this now moment activates these divine human DNA markers, allowing for a new projection of realities through the sun, Gaia, and our heart centers. They all align. We receive these light codes and etheric DNA strands into our bodies and fields and activate our divine human DNA. It changes our perception of reality on a personal and collective level, allowing access to the higher realms of our own consciousness. Solar heart activation weaves us back into the cosmic fabric of oneness, pure unity consciousness, the God state. Through collective DNA superradiance, we experience embodiment. Embodiment amplifies the collective human heart grid, providing DNA codes which allow unity consciousness as a palpable reality for all willing hearts. It is an act of service as well as a desire of the soul to reunify with Source. When we choose to participate in the ascension and DNA activation, we become part of a unified field of conscious intent to accelerate change. We activate collective DNA fields in the human heart grid and connect with Gaia's crystalline grid, granting access to the ascended realm of the new earth. We go through phases of activation. In the ascension process, we honor the step-by-step function of each phase of crystalline DNA activation. They parallel each other because DNA is the key to our experience of ascension in these realms. Each of these phases is covered in detail in this class. The first phase is healing, detoxification of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels, which creates the bio-landscape and the quantum canvas for our ascension experience. This phase allows us to create the vehicle to hold the much higher frequencies of 12-strand and 144 infinite level DNA. The second phase is heart coherence. All is directed and manifested through the heart, the vibration of love light, as we reactivate the higher strands and levels of crystalline DNA. It's like a fail-safe on the whole ascension operation. The coherent heart field must be present to receive, perceive, and operate in the higher states of crystalline consciousness. It cannot happen without heart coherence. The third phase is activation, receiving and generating photonic light, coherent light, through the DNA for the experience of reconnection to Source as self and other aspects of self in other realms. Epigenetic overriding of lesser or uncomplementary codes is part of our activation at this phase, and the 12 and 144 structure is revealed. The fourth phase is embodiment, the ability to activate and receive DNA strands and codes and hold them in the conscious awareness for a full experience of the Christed state. We then enter the phase of mastery, becoming one with the cosmic lattice work, the Stargate systems of Source consciousness flowing into these realities. The next phase is transcendence, which is the transmutation of the denser physical form from carbon to carbon silica and then to silica. And the crystalline DNA is the mechanism for shifting the perception of dimensional realities. All is unified, and we perceive these levels one by one as we experience DNA activation. Now, all of this DNA activation and perception of other levels of self begins with choice. DNA activation is stimulating. It's clearing. This class is light encoded to assist you with this process.
Let's give it about 50.
We ask that you pace yourself. Alignment and integration is key. Take notes. Follow the practices. Follow the methods for best results. We welcome you to this beautiful exploration of crystalline DNA and all that your divine consciousness already contains. We're going to unlock, activate, and go step by step through this process together in order to become the awareness of all that is shining through all of these realities in order to assist our brothers and sisters with the activation and the perception of the pure Source as self state.
Not escapism, it's like you're choosing to emanate Gaia Sophia higher consciousness level, higher levels, new earth realms now. It's beautiful.
I've been noticing, and I've brought it up to a few guests, and that is, I think, tied into what you're saying. You're using the word conduit, which even makes it better. I was using the word creativity, that, you've got shadow work over here, zero pointing over here, that inner work, but there was, to me, there was like a new stream available.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that if I, we all kind of can channel and you get in that groove, and we are a conduit. It's not coming from us, it's coming through us. And so what I started to notice is, since we've left Sedona, that there were these flashes and periods that I could remember from going back a few years when you're in that conduit channel mode. And that in and of itself, it was like a clearing mechanism. It was also a method that keeps me from engaging the external distractions and the distortions. And so I feel what you're saying. And if I tie that into what you were saying about the wave, and I believe you said, with this wave of revelation, we're going to move into, let's say, higher ground. We're going to discover things as a result of a higher vantage point that we might have gone into judgment about 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, that might have been a bit debilitating. Is that what you were saying, that we would get to this place, let's say in December, January, and as these revelations come to us, there's more of an accentuation on the positives and less of an attachment to the discovery of new shadows or things we could have done different and all that?
Yeah, I feel that's already happening. I feel a lot of us have had that experience this year, where it's just you realize what's going on and why. It helps to know why. Dismantling, it doesn't mean it disappears. It means it gets thrown into the forefront. The collective chooses how do we want to ride through this thing? And then a lot of people having mass awakenings, et cetera, et cetera. It's all been predicted. Disclosure, of course. It's how you deal with it and what you choose. And that for me and what I'm teaching right now is this leveling up. It's this leveling up of, okay, not just understanding what the Christ is, or crystalline or unity consciousness is, but then there's this other level. It's like attain that first, stabilize it within your fields, then your light body is going to expand, and you are that constant conduit of that frequency. And like they say, miracles happen outside of time. You walk around as that pure conduit, and you'll watch reality self-correct around you because you're holding such a higher frequency. And you can see that on a global level, these higher frequencies coming in, shattering all the old systems, exposing all the old systems. Used to be a bit of a slow drip, 2020, boom. Right? Global awareness of something is amiss, right? And that's a fine story. It is what it is, but we really need to take ownership of our capability as divine humans, no matter where you came from, using the divine human vessel we're creating a whole different kind of human on this planet. And that divine human is about co-creating, is about what can we do with consciousness in unity. We're going so above and beyond, the crystal technologies and the ability to use codes, to retrieve information from the living library, to be able to use our DNA and our light body in a different way. This is the thing. This is the narrative to follow, to be on board with. Because it's not about the drama. Yes, awakening happens at different levels, and it is what it is. And if you're guided to teach or guide to people who are newly awakened, God bless you. Beautiful. And there's also people who want to play with the next level. That is so. I call it the creator state of consciousness. But you feel source so palpably all the time. It's eliminating separation. You don't need the experience of separation. Unique life experience, yes, but in a constant honoring of the life force that is God. And seeing that in everything, honoring that the way it plays out for everyone, and not having to go and attack something that you see that doesn't fit your narrative. It's yes. There are so many people that are really decent light warriors that are, guided to expose certain things, and they've already come to the forefront. The people that were most important to get us to this point are already there. So it's nothing you have to concern yourself about. And if you're somebody who has been on the fence, like, I really want to help out, but I don't know what to do. All I do is retweet things or whatever. You need to get off the fence. You need to make a choice. You need to make a choice, because the wave everything has been amplified this year. That's why a lot of people having trouble with their thoughts and their addictions and everything, because everything is amplified, so you can look at it and make a clearer choice. That's part of the veil lifting. That's part of the revelation. But this revelation wave for those of us who are awake, aware, ascending, and have been working on this for a while, this is an important one.
And I love what you said there too, because we notice, this whole thing with the website. Of course, we've been working on it for a long, long time, but it never went anywhere because there was the old it was forced. Something was forced, or something was
Yeah.
framed up, or there was a foundation of duality in a certain aspect or a certain agenda. And when we left Sedona, it started with one person. It was an organic wave, and it just was one thing that somebody stepped and said, I want to open an Instagram for Soulogy. Boom. Somebody else came in and said, I want to do your website. Boom. And then it just went boom, 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 boom. And when you're talking about that conduit aspect and how things are attracted to you, I guess is how you put it.
Organized.
Yeah. And it's a much easier, and it's much nicer path to walk than it is to, because there is a strong pull from these patterns that we've had. There's a strong pull because we're so used to being a rubberneck and turning around and looking at the accident on the side of the road. But I think I'm with you. I think it's gotten easier, and now that I'm talking to you, I'm looking at things a little bit differently. That this chaos and this projection energy that we were referring to that's occurred over the last 3 or 4 months was actually a catalyst. It sounds like it was a push to bring this stuff up, so that when we get the revelation and we can see from more extreme contrast how out of line we were, and snap right back. Because the judgment is leaving too.
The judgment's leaving. But the big thing is, people are always asking me, where am I on my ascension path? How far did I get? I'm like, have you forgiven everything that's been revealed this year? Are you forgiving moment to moment? Does it just not weigh on your heart when people do things that seem destructive or against God's will, et cetera, because it is all God. I know it's really difficult. A lot of people woke up in the middle of all the stuff that was going on in the summertime, before the censorship began, and they had never been exposed to that stuff before, and they're like, what? I'm like, easy, breathe, don't forget who you are. Don't forget that this is all coming to the forefront so that it can be released, right? Kind of keep your eyes on the prize during this thing. But the forgiveness is a lot of self-forgiveness, of course, being revealed too, and washing away all of that old stuff. It's so old.
It is old.
Some of it is so old. People are still digging around the ancient whatevers, trying to find the cause for their blues, just kind of like, why am I like this? Why are we like this kind of thing? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Ultimately,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Thank you. The elders, Sasquatch, the elders. Just in what I do over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've come across quite a few occurrences of people that are either communicating telepathically, dimensionally, or a couple of cases of sightings, to include an incredible photograph, which I'm hoping to talk to the sister about very soon.
Yeah.
That, I've always known that I'm most sensitive to the organic, the elemental, but I've noticed it in animals. I've noticed it in the nature energies, nature beings, and as I started to come into these situations where people said, "Hey, Sasquatch threw a rock at me the other day. I was sitting on a log, and I guess what I'm saying is I could feel from that collection of occurrences something like not just the elders, but all the elementals moving in closer and closer and closer. I know you have a connection with the elementals as well as many other things. Is that on par with what you're getting? Are you experiencing or seeing anything like that?
Yeah, this beautiful thing's been happening for the past year, where a lot of gate and grid keepers have been requesting from the kingdoms, the animals, the minerals, the elementals, express your new earth, higher crystalline expression. Let that come forth. Let that come forth. And we've been requesting this, and then you start getting these interesting things happening with the elementals and with the kingdoms, plants, everything. It's really luscious. And you walk outside, and it's like walking in Eden. I'm so like the frequency, and I understand it has to be a bit of a frequency match for people to feel that. So walk outside, breathe, connect with Gaia, put your hands on some plants or a tree, and feel into the actual vibration that's emanating right through the crystalline grids right now. That's allowing for the way that we communicate in New Earth realms, direct communication with the plants, direct communication with the animals. It's sitting side by side with an elk. You know, I had this experience a few months ago. I went to the Grand Canyon, side by, just sitting there, hanging out with the elk. Beautiful, right? But the Sasquatch, which always lights up my heart because I had so much interaction. I've had so much interaction with them. They too, you know, you have to kind of witness what's happening with humanity through their eyes. They see you. They see your frequency. They see your light. So that's why people get, you know, the rock, the tapping, the whoop, you know, they get to see them or whatever. It's because there's a frequency. They can see that you're lit up. And when you're lit up that way, they're like, ooh, this is the time when humans, you know, they understand the gates too. You know, one of the first things the Sasquatch projected to me was anything for gatekeeper. They know what we do, right? So they understand gates are opening, new frequencies coming. They're on the ships too. So they understand what's coming and what's happening. So there's going to be a lot more interaction because we're calling it forth. You know? Yeah. And when plants are making noise and elementals are responding to group intervention, group meditations, when animals are coming close and they have no fear. Because you've got no fear in your field. So they're like, well, there's nothing here that's going to attack me. So boom. You know, they're very comfortable with us. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, we were talking to some friends the other day who've been traveling all over the country, a couple, with some other people, and they went to the Grand Teton Park, and they were on the hiking trail, and they saw a bear on the way up, and on the way down, it was a mother bear with two cubs, right solid in the trail. And our friend was telling me most of the hikers pulled out the bear spray. And he said, no. He said, don't be afraid. We'll just find another way. And he took him on a little side path and just went around him. But his partner was telling me, she was saying in the eye contact, like locking eyes with her, with the mother, you know, the bear, was just incredible. And they were just describing how the energy was different. Yeah. You've talked about a little bit about the 12/12, the December to January wave revelation. I don't know what that was that we came out of, that, you know, in that Sedona period, but 11/11 seemed to be huge. Another level of like masculine and feminine energy becoming like one. What was the theme in 11/11 to you in November?
It was kind of interesting. I was guided to get a small, intimate group of sisters together and have the divine masculine that wanted to attend anchor, like it's kind of mystery school style. So the sisters are inside and the divine masculine anchor and protect and hold space, which is usually here divine feminine holding space. This was like strong divine masculine too, and they surprised me and they brought gongs to play afterward. I was just like, oh my gosh, these brothers are so beautiful, and they literally just stood there and or sat there and held space, and we went through all these different, and we're like, okay, now, and we were doing the unified viewing thing and toning and living library codes disseminated and activation codes disseminated, all these caves of creation purified and opened up. Just really beautiful, intimate ceremony. And then I had a vision the day before of us doing this ancient shaking ceremony where the energy comes up from Gaia and all the girls start bouncing, and and I saw it really clearly. And then the whole night before, it was kind of like last night. I was just constant vision and activations and everything from like 1 o'clock in the morning until we met the next day. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we kind of like just grounded, physicalized that etheric experience. I saw everybody who was going to be there. It was really beautiful. But again, because it's happening collectively, there are still so many millions of us doing ceremony in this way, connecting during the unity meditations, just consistency, that you do change your DNA. And there's a collective part of our DNA that is activated. Yeah. So it's like these little tipping points, right? Enough people do it, and it's not the numbers. It's not the, bazillion people at the same time. You need quality meditators that can focus. Yeah. And when they're consistent, you just keep hitting it over and over and over again. And you start getting a different experience. So this revelation wave, of course, was initiated with the 1111 gate. There's so much going on. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's really quite beautiful. But I'm finding that the that kind of ceremony probably won't be done again. Where the men are on the outside, women on the inside. It's probably going away. It just felt right for that. And I was seeing it in vision. So I'm like, let's just see what happened. And I feel like even some people were weeping at the photos. They're like, oh my gosh, look at those brothers. They're just, you've got these women doing all this crazy stuff, for like 2 hours. It was like an hour and a half or something. And they were just holy space, like literally guarding us. They like put a big gold ring around us and just stayed focused, participated, and but it was really.
Well, that jives with what I was saying. To me, that's like a physical representation of what I was getting at. And I've noticed too, and I think we talked about this a little bit in Sedona too, kind of an emergence of that masculine energy, like you're describing, that was outside the circle, kind of like the Michael Mejia, Israel, that soft but powerful. Mm-hmm. The space holder, that energy that provides the support and safety of that feminine energy to thrive.
I also feel that we're transcending that too, brother, because I feel that stepping forward in me. My divine masculine was always very strong. Then it had to take a back seat while I was doing the divine feminine journey, and now it's like, so you feel whatever is needed in the moment occurs, but you're always not defending. There's not this back away from the sisters, not that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. It's again this divine neutrality, but it's such the balancing energy that came in September has been so consistent. And now I realize its purpose too, because as these new frequencies come in, that's the balancing act, right? Yeah. 2020 was a bit of a wild show, right? So now this balancing energy that's, it always comes in early and then it gets physicalized. But I feel that need, that balance, like, wow, if I can hold this balance, you get that solar flashing activity that's already occurring. I'm sure we talked about that last time. Just being overwhelmed. You see the sun swelling, and you get recoded. And that's a collective thing that's about to unfold in December. this experience of like what's happening behind the veil, and the veil's over the sun, and all of that. It's just like it's already there. And if you can be balanced and non-judgmental and immediately forgive and forget other stories or narratives as they come up, it's like, oh good, somebody's taking care of that. You don't need to get entangled with all this stuff that's being revealed. And that's there's an opportunity here. It's such a leveling up. There's such an opportunity here to really become that which we desire, and if you have your heart set on that cosmic Christ consciousness, that unity consciousness, that ability to really be your I am presence all the time, not as some godlike, guru, but as a unique expression, but consistent. You know what I mean? Consistently on, where all the other choices or distortions just instantly, you notice that now. A choice point comes up, you're like, not mine. I don't need that. Thank you.
Or if you misstep, you pull right back. No judgment. Keep moving.
Right.
Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, it's that ability to qualify all the light and the codes and the energies that come through you, that come from you. Your thoughts, your emotions, everything. And you practice it so much through the ascension process, then the body learns, subconscious gets cleared, and your light body goes autopilot, your heart goes autopilot, where you cannot create distortion any longer. Right?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of talking in that path. I mean, you don't spend a lot of time substantiating what you're doing like we did in the past, because we needed to rationalize why we were distracted or who we were blaming or whatever the case was. You're right though. And I've noticed that the chatter, like this year, the chatter has gotten less and less and less and less. And then even when thoughts come in and I'll think something, I just go and grab it.
Right.
I'm not like
grab it and
separating
stuff it down,
from
but you
anything.
grab it and it's just like dissolved. That light, that frequency just instantly dissolves that. Or if the mind starts getting distracted or whatever, like,
Yeah, it's working. Cross my fingers every time I use it. Another thing this year too has been bouts of solitude, not necessarily measured in linear time. Because like for me, like I can go get what I need in 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 2 hours. But when it comes in, really like last night, like I know after the shows today, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay flat on my back and I'm going to not to sleep, but just to let everything go and just assemble. But that's been important. The rest has been important. It hasn't come on the normal time, the daily schedule. It just comes when it comes. And it be 2 hours, it can be 10 hours, although that doesn't happen much. But I've heard a lot of people talking about that too. But I've also seen where they've said that they're okay with it and they realize that. I mean, to me, that just tells me that.
Hell yeah. See, if you don't know what to do in this ascension, don't focus on that negative. You got to put your energy somewhere. Put it on that light within yourself, because that's what it is. That's what the I Am Soul is. It's about discovering you being authentic and you and being real. Not having to substantiate or validate yourself. It's nothing like that. It's about just being you. You don't have to say nothing. A soul don't have to say damn thing.
Everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish and motherfuckers act like they
Todd Medina, Soldier One Studios, wishing you and yours peace, fire, protection, and some big ass love. Let's play a little bit.
You're not reactive from the ego or the subconscious programming. But what's also come through now is soften. You're going home. And the you're going home all of a sudden switches me into this state of it's all okay, relax. I don't need to get into this battle with anybody. I don't need to get into this battle with the 3D. I can be the observer. I can be detached, because no matter what's happening, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Home, being into this self, this being, this familiarity, this expansion of light, this peace, love, and joy embodied. And then ultimately, when we leave our vessels, we carry on as that light, as that peace, love, joy, and well-being. So soften, you're going home, is just a way of really quickly getting out of that triggered state, or that reactive state, or that angsting or striving or needing something to be any different than how it is, needing to control. It all goes away, it melts. For me anyway, with that statement, soften.
That's a big
home.
Word. Yeah, that's a big word too, control. Like that just gives the frequency of constricted muscles, like tightening up, and this softening thing is a great figuratively and literally a great
ultimately that control is what's programmed into us through the fears. It's that, oh my God, if I don't control this situation, if I don't control this person, if I don't control what's unfolding, then I'm not safe.
Yeah.
But soften, you're
or
going
happy.
home. You're going to be safe. You don't need to control this.
Yeah.
You can sit back, hold these frequencies, and bring in that you need. And synchronistically, things will unfold for you, by you. But getting out of that reactive fear state that puts you in a state of needing to control a person's understanding, control what a person's wanting to do, control. I was talking with my father, and I said, surely you're not getting the I don't know how much I meant to say on this before they, ban us, but
you can say whatever you want.
The COVID chemotherapy that they're putting out there now, and just hearing his reaction, and I was saying, look, the side effects are being shown now. There are many people that are really suffering from already having this. And his attitude is, oh, well, there's always going to be some losses for the greater good, and we need to have, and you just go, whoa. And I just finished with, okay, I've just fulfilled my duty of care.
Yeah.
I've given you the information that I understand. I am a doctor. I trained in that medical world. I've woken up. I now see things from a greater perspective and another side of the fence. But that's okay. That's where you're at. But I've fulfilled my duty of care. I don't need to debate you on this. And it was great. Soften. I'm going home.
Yeah. No charge. Just, it's such like a tapestry of frequencies today now into this third show. So I don't know where one stops and one starts, but I do remember speaking along the same lines with both David and Sandra Walter.
Gone. Now, as a human being, that sounds like bullshit. You can't erase any of that. But you know what? It wasn't fucking real. Excuse me. It wasn't real. I had Elaine on earlier today, a Texas light worker with her F-bombs and everything. It was great because she was telling her story. And that's basically how she vibrates. It wasn't real. I forgive you, or however you want to put that. Whatever the situation was, but it's a form of surrender. I think that's becoming more prevalent. Why are you smiling at me? Don't look at me that way.
Okay.
We can continue this conversation when we get off. Yeah, don't look at me. My own awareness to me allows all selves to be. But I think that's what I really got out of this tonight was the human is the manager. And really in those words too, because manager is such a human word, but really the human is the manager. That is a self-reliance of the soul. We manage ourselves.
Yeah, and we fall into the human and we go into self-judgment or self-consciousness or whatever and think something's wrong. But the manager, a great manager, knows its full company, knows when the cleaners are struggling. A great manager will go and help the cleaners. So when we fall into we think we're falling into the human, but we're actually going and managing, the bits of the company that aren't actually working to its to its best best performances. So, you know, so many of us think, oh my God, I've fallen into human, I'm going through this and this and this, but you're just being a great manager and aligning the 3D concept or the 3D human with a higher part of the upper management again. That's a great manager. You know, and we have a habit of actually judging, oh, I feel like shit, I feel disconnected, I'm experiencing, you know, something lower vibrational. But, you know, it's like a manager of a company going into the toilets and noticing the toilets haven't been cleaned properly yet.
Yeah.
A good manager might clean the toilets themselves or contact the cleaner and say, you know, this and this needs to be done. You know, I think and I really love the last 4 days has been really consciously experiencing where we're in self-judgment, self-consciousness, and most of us have been making a new choice in that moment, going, oh my God, well, yeah, I'm 5 pounds overweight, who cares? Or 5 kilos overweight, who cares? Look, you know, I'm still this or I'm still that. This has been our opportunity in the last 4 days of making new choices in that what the human judges as a lower frequency. I've fallen into fear, but those fear-based areas are like, you know, having a meeting, a business meeting, and hearing some of the problems of the company. And then the good manager starts making different or new choices. You know, we don't have to take this personally. We can actually manage ourselves like a multi-dimensional company, understanding how powerful the human is, because the human has free will that is going to choose to resist it, to project it, or to embody something new.
Yeah. You know, for me, because I experience these things, I can't put them into words, and I'm a wordsmith, and I talk to you and you put them into words, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, you know. But for me, the way it went down was, it was dual. It was one, that I have these all my multidimensional aspects are part of my voice, basically, part of my mind, part of my guidance. And the human in reflection of that, you know, the human also observing that and saying, okay, you've got these guys in the house, whatever. But on the other side of it is the human respecting itself, not among its peers on earth, but among its peers in the multidimensional aspects, and understanding how important our role is. Because over the last 7 years, I've had many shows or acquaintances or whatever, exchanges with like psychics and stuff like that. And they talk about how we are held in such high regard. You know, the human is held in such high regard for what it's doing, which I believe is expanding as a living library, expanding the Akasha.
And that seems to be the gift of our discomfort in the last 4 days, is like understanding.
Welcome to a new episode of the Advancing Consciousness series with Franco Di Nicola. This is a place where people can come to gain further insight and clarity as to what is going on and how we can shift things on a personal and global level, while also accessing higher levels of consciousness and awareness. We bring this series to you free of charge so that many are able to access this information. However, if you resonate with what Franco shares and you would like to support his work, contributions are welcomed and greatly appreciated. A link is in the description and will be provided in the chat if you feel guided to do so. Also, we have many previous workshops, such as a couple of our most recent, Maneuvering with Neutrality and Alignment during this next wave of unfoldments, and Deprogram Clearing Empowerment Workshop. You could also join us in our membership program, Let's Talk About You, where like-minded people come together bi-weekly to talk about the topics requiring deeper understanding and clarity. All of these are available on Teachable, and we encourage you to check them out as they are great resources at very affordable prices to assist in better understanding this human experience. The Teachable link will also be provided in the chat and description. And lastly, don't forget to share. As the more of us coming together and creating a shift in oneself, the more effective it'll be to shift things globally. Thank you for joining us and being part of the change. Enjoy today's broadcast.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Advancing Consciousness series. Today is episode 61. And the topic today is inner resilience, being in the eye of the storm, or in this case here, being in the eye of whatever storm we're going to be playing with. So we'll cover that today, and we'll get to go even further into it, and we're looking forward to doing a little process that you can have a takeaway while we're going through all these beautiful, colorful experiences at this time. If you're new on the channel or wherever you're watching it at this time, and you have not shared it, and you have not in some way liked and also subscribed, depending on the platform you are, go ahead and do that. That way we can reach more people, and you can get notifications when things are coming up, when each of the episodes come in. So, Advancing Consciousness series, this particular episode, again, is always geared to what is hot at this time in providing you the tools and also the deeper understanding so that you can better navigate through all the things that we're playing with right now. And there's a lot that we're playing with right now. And if anybody has anything to say about it, we're definitely going through some pretty interesting, colorful times. And right now, inner resilience is really, really powerful for us as a tool to be able to go through what we're going through and what is unfolding the next few months. Now, I know we just started 2021 and we have gone into a beautiful dance of what it already looks like, and it will continue for the next couple of months and a bit, where it's going to seem even more kind of what you like to use the word crazy, out of control, confusion and so forth. And I've talked about it in the past about grounding and connecting with ourselves and so forth. But at this time, we're going to focus on that a little bit more in details. All right, so to get us rolling at this time, let's take a look at what is inner resilience and being in the eye of the storm. I mean, some people could say, the eye of the storm, what does that mean? You're going to go right in the middle of the storm? Well, when you're looking at the storm, being on the outside and being pulled into the storm is not a lot of fun. But if you're right in the center of it, the eye of it, then you are not affected by everything that's around us. Let's use the example. Look at you, all of us at this point in time. There's so much going on the planet right now. I know it is part of the transformation. I realize fully and completely that in one way or another that this is serving us in a powerful way. Now, as much as it is assisting us in a very powerful way, it also makes us feel a little uncomfortable with everything that's playing out at this time. And there's a lot playing out. Now, with all of the speeding up and all the processing and so forth that's going on in the world right now, based on the different systems, different authority figures, different clusters throughout the world right now, you're going to find that there's a storm brewing all around us. And also the fact that we are being bombarded with not only choice points, but sort of a strong influence to go one direction or another. And that is part of the storm.
In 2021, but we can all feel that it's going to be massive. It's going to be life-changing, probably even more than this year. So I want to remind all of us, myself included, to always look at what we wish to see in the world, not to focus on what is painful and bad and what we don't like, but actually let's focus on creating the new, creating the world that we have wished for so long. Let's focus on being, on actually embodying what we want to see, you know, which is love and connection and support and co-creation. And don't let anyone tell you that it's impossible, because it's just not true. Nothing is impossible. We can go and create whatever we see in our visions. This is the thing. And we have been, our whole society, it's such a big topic, I don't really want to dive deep into it, but we have been shown, we have been programmed, if I use that word, in a sense, to believe that only certain things are possible, that a beautiful world with people who care for each other, with people who support for each other, with people that you can actually trust. We've been programmed into believing that it's not possible. But you know what? That's just a program. We are the ones who decide what is possible, and we are the ones who decide what we agree to. And one thing that I feel is that this upcoming year of 2021 will be the year when many people will say no to what they don't want anymore, and they will say yes to what they have always dreamed of, and they will start believing that it is possible. And so my invitation to you is to think in that way. It is possible, even if you don't know how to do it, how it should be done, how it could be done. The first big step is just to reframe, to recalibrate yourself. Sorry, cat is playing with the wire. To recalibrate yourself into truly and deeply believing that it's okay to be yourself. You came here to be yourself, and just by being yourself, you are contributing the highest that you could ever contribute, just by being yourself and by creating and by doing what excites you. And it is possible. It is possible. I mean, so many things that we thought would never happen happened this year. So I think it's really not time anymore to limit ourselves. So my friends, I will see you in the new year, in 2021, and I just wish for us to finally relax into who we are, to finally collectively relax into trusting each other and into creating this world that I know we all deeply desire somewhere within. We are all looking for it, and yeah, let's create, let's be what we want to see. Let's not focus so much of what is bad in the existing situation. Let's focus on what we want to have here, on how we want to live our lives, and let's just do it. Like, we don't need to wait. There is always something that you can do immediately to shift the situation, and I think that's where we start. Even if you don't know what you're supposed to do, you start with something very small. You start with something very small, with something that you can do right now. Sorry. Kat says hi as well. So anyway, I am sending you much love and blessings, and you already have everything that you've been looking for. It's inside of you. You don't need permission from any leader, from any galactic, or from any guide. Like, everything is really, really within you. And yeah, I'm excited to see what we create in the coming year. Big love and blessings for the passage from 2020 into 2021.